Friends, when I started trading, I used to find blames every time when a trade went wrong. Sometimes to the market, sometimes news, sometimes the wrong advice of an analyst. I used to think that if things outside had been right, I would not have lost. But gradually I learned a very deep truth. You can never become the owner of your future until you become the owner of your results. The biggest turning point in trading came for me when I saw myself in the mirror and asked the question if I am really under control or I am justifying myself every time. There was a strange silence in me on that moment because the truth was that every time I took the trade myself, the entry was mine. The exit was mine. I removed the stop loss. Still I was blaming someone else. From here I understood that growth in trading starts from where you accepted 100% response. This is not easy because taking response means you cannot protect yourself from any exercise. You cannot say whether the market cheated or the setup failed. You have to believe that if there is a mistake, it is due to your decision, and only when you accepted this transformation starts. I also learned that when you own the results, a huge power wakes up in you because now you do not feel helpless. Now you do not live victim. Now you make yourself sit on the driver's seat. A trader that blames always tries to control external factors. News, economy, global events. But the truth is that the market will never come under your control. What is under control is just your behavior. You have psychology. I started changing myself. I started questioning myself after every trade. Why did I take this trade? Was I on the strategy or just in the impulse? And gradually I started recognizing my patterns. Taking response makes you brutalian in front of yourself. And this is where the clarity comes. Because when you leave the blame, you stop running after exercises. And when the exercises are over, there is only one thing left: improvement. Every loss in trading is a lion. But this lesson comes only when you consider it as your own. If you blame someone else every time, then that lesson will always be away from you. And here I saw the biggest difference. Earlier I used to break after every loss. Now I started looking at every loss like a signal. It tells where I to improve. And when this mindset shifted, my consistency started. Because now I was not leaving the results on chance. Now I knew that every surprise is my responsibility, and if I change myself, my outstand will also change. In trading, power is near only one who takes the entire ownership of its own actions and results. Because the same trader can convert its mistakes into strength, and this ownership separates you from the rest. Because when you become the owner of your results, then you do not have a slave to the market. But this is where most traders get stuck here. Why? Because he keeps putting the blame on the market, and this blame stucks them in the same place. I myself did this in my early days. Every time a trade failed, I thought the market itself is wrong. Why did this news come? Why did it suddenly reversed? This is the manipulation. And thinking so, I used to feel myself a little better. Because blame gives a comfort. I am not wrong. The mistake is from the market. But this is the biggest enemy of comfort growth. Because when you blame, you are running away from response. And when you run away from response, you lose control. Then you just become a spectator. A helpless person who stands with folded hands in front of every move of the market. Trading has a lot of trap. Victim mentality, and this mentality is so dangerous that it sits silently inside you. You say the market ruined my hard work. You think that an external force is destroying your trading. But the truth is that market is neither your friend nor enemy. The market is just neutral. The problem is not inside out. As long as you keep blaming, you will not see opportunities to improve yourself. You will repeat the same mistakes again and again because you do not consider them your mistake. I remember once I took an impulsive trade. There was no setup. There was just a gut feeling and went to the trade loss. I immediately said the market cheated. But the truth was that the market did nothing. The mistake was mine. I broke the rules. And when I admitted this, then I changed. Blaming market also gives you emotionally weak. Every time you trade with fear because you have been believed that the market is unbridged and unique. But when you leave the blame and take control in your hand, the fear decreases. Because now you know that every surprise is the result of your preparation and discipline. Lamenting the market is as if you are leaving the steering and blaming the car. She is walking but you are not guiding her. Taking response means taking back into your hand. And remember this: when you blame, you stop your learning. But when you accept it, every loss becomes your teacher. Success in trading starts from where the blame ends. Stop blaming the market and ask yourself, what can I change? The same question will open new avenues for you because the market is never going to change, but you can change every day, and this difference comes in the trader and the defeat trader. Now the question is, how will this change come? How will you get out of the blame and shift towards control? And the answer is just one: to shift from external control to internal control. Initially, every trader tries to control the market. We think that if we catch the right news, put the right indicator or find the right level, then we can run the market according to our own. But the truth is that it is impossible to control the market. Market neither understands your emotions nor your expectations. He can do anything in any moment and does. And when you run after external control, the market breaks you every time. I was also once in this trap. He used to read news every day. Global events used to track. Used to draw endless lines on the charts. All only so that I can be able to pay the market. But the more frustration I tried to predict kept growing. Then one day I asked myself, if the market is not under my control, then whom can I control? And the answer was I myself. Internal control in trading means focusing on your thinking, your reactions, your psychology. You cannot change market moves. But you can change your response to those moves. When I understood this, my entire approach changed. Now I did not try to control the market. I used to control myself. If the market suddenly went against me, he learned to work instead of exiting panic. If the profit was done, He learned to stay neutral instead of being overconfident. This shift was not easy. I developed small habits to create internal control. After every trade, he started writing the journal. Started noting his emotions. Started asking himself questions. Am I following the plan or just in the impulse? Gradually I realized that the market was stopping bothering me. Because now I was able to see every outpost in a neutral manner. The real strength of internal control is that it separates you from the randomness of the market. You stop connecting every candle to your identity. You save yourself from the market case and make a quiet observer, and the real stuff trading starts from here. When you leave the external control and adopt internal control, you stop fighting the market. You accept it as he is. And this acceptance takes you to a new level, because the winners in trading are not those who win the market but are those who win themselves. Remember, the market will always be out, unaccounted and unbridged. But your thinking, your discipline, your psychology is all in you, and all this is under your control. And when you adopt this shift, then you also live in the market store. But another big challenge comes out here. It is victim mentality to break. Because as long as this mentality is alive inside you, you cannot bring yourself under control. I had heard myself saying this again and again in my early years. The market cheated me, or the broker made a stop-loss hit. Sometimes news, sometimes blaming a big player. It seemed easy. Because blaming reduces pain slightly. But to tell the truth, it was just an illusion. Victim mentality gives you comfort. But this comfort stuck you where you are. When you consider yourself a victim, a danger belief sits in your mind that you are powerless. You think that the market is against you, luck is not with you, and every time some external factor stops you. But victim mentality is a slow poison in trading. It teaches you to find comfort in small exercises. And these exercises only become the largest wall between you and success. I remember the day when I did a big loss. That day I explained to myself all day that it was not my fault. The market was manipulated. But at night, when I was alone and questioned myself honestly, the answer was clear. The mistake was mine. I broke the rules. I took impulsive trade. That night I took a decision that now I will not consider myself victim. No matter what happens, I will take responsibility for every result. And this was my turning point. When you break the victim mentality, you leave to find exaucers and start finding soul's irons. Now you say that it is okay. Where did I go wrong? How can I stop it next time? This brings a powerful shift. You become a member with helpless. Now you know that the market should do anything. You can learn, EDPT, and grow every time you can learn. Victim mentality keeps you stuck in the past. But when you get out of it, your focus goes to the future. Now you see every loss like a lesson. Every mistake like a stepping stone. People who do not get out of victim mentality in trading, they repeat the same mistake every time. But those who break it convert their lions into strength. And remember, the market is not the enemy of anyone. He is neutral.
If you consider yourself a victim, then it is just your perception, and your entire reality can change as soon as the perception changes. So ask yourself this question: are I still considering myself a victim, or I have become the driver of my future? Because when you stop becoming a victim, then you really become a trader. But even after this, there is a truth that if you cannot accept, then all the hard work will become useless. And that is to accept the excesses as part of trading. This is the biggest reality of trading. No one can give 100% certificate. Every move of the market runs on probables. But our mind finds a certainty. We want every trade to be correct. Every setup should work. Every time our prediction is a hit. I had made the same mistake. Every time the market used to run against my expectation, I used to get upset. Why did this happen? I had corrected analysis. This question used to eat my mind, and it was from here that frustration, fear, and doubts were born. Then one day I asked myself, can I force the market to give a certainty? The answer was not clear. And then I understood that trading is not a game of certainty, but a game of managing an abundance. When you accepted an abstract, a strange burden is removed from inside you. Now you stop judging every trade according to the outpost. Now you focus on the process. I told myself that every trade is just a probability. I can win, I can lose. But both are scenarios normal. And this thinking changed my entire psychology. Now the market did not scare me because I assumed that loss was also part of the game. See, the biggest problem of traders is that they want a certificate in every trade. He wants that once you have learned the strategy, now it will be successful every time. But this never happens. The market will always be random. Accepting an abstract does not mean that you get careless. This means that you stay disciplined. Focus on the process, and it is as if the outcome is unpredictable. When you adopt this mindset, your fear is over, because the fear always comes from the abnormality of the future, and when you accept it, there is no place for fear. In trading, the trader is successful, which also works in this camos, which knows that not every trade is an outsider but a reflection of the execution. I made this rule. My job is to take trade, manage and follow process. Outcome is the work of the market. And believe me, as soon as I accepted this truth, my consistency started. Because now I could see every trade like a neutral event. Neither more excitement, nor more fear. Accepting an abstract is the thing that protects you from emotional swings. Now, whatever the market, you are anchored, and the realist of trading is here. The market will remain unpredictable, but you can make your mind a predictable, and this brings us to the one thing that changes the trading from inside. Self-awareness. I learned in my journey that trading is not just a game of charts or strategies. This is the game of the part inside you that you rarely face. And that part is your own mind. Self-awareness means understanding yourself. To observe your reactions. Recognizing your thought patterns. Why are you panic when the market suddenly falls? When the price goes to your favorite, why do you become an overconfident? Why do you do revving trading when you are in loss? These questions seem simple, but this is where real awareness begins. I remember once I made 5 consecutive trades in a loving streak. I was so frozen that I thought I would just take the next big trade and recover everything. But at the same time I posted myself and asked, is this decision taking my strategy or my feelings? And the answer was clear: my emotions. That day I realized that the market will keep trapping me again and again until I learns to peek inside myself. Self-awareness shows you mirror. She tells you whether your decisions are logical or emotional. She tells you whether you are on the strategy or simply in the impulse. And this awareness gives you the edge that the rest of the traders do not have. I started a simple habit for this. After every trade, writing a journal is not just numbers but also your emotions. How did I feel at the time of taking trade? Did I exit fear? Did I increase the position size in greed? Gradually these notes became a map for me. I recognized patterns. How I used to trade quickly after loss. How to become careless after profits. And by breaking these patterns, I made discipline. Self-awareness in trading does not just make you a better trader. She also makes you better human. Because when you learn to observe your emotions, you do not remain under their control. You learn to work. You become patient. This is the awareness that takes you out of the place where the rest of the traders are stuck, between fear and greed. And remember, when you are aware, then you look at every trade with neutralize. Now neither the loss breaks you nor the profit seduces you. You live in balance. Self-awareness trading has an invisible skill that distinguishes you from the rest. Because when the rest of the people are engaged in understanding the market, you are understanding yourself, and when you understand yourself, then the market becomes just a canvas for you, where you paint yourself. To win in trading, first know yourself, because the market will remain the same. If you want to change, then you have to change yourself, and only when you understand yourself, you are able to learn the most important skill of trading. Discipline. But remember that discipline does not come on its own. It is born only when you adopt your personal accountability, i.e., accountability towards yourself. I learned it very late in my journey. Initially, I used to think that discipline is just the name of following the rules. But after repeatedly breaking the rules, it was understood that the real discipline does not enforce from outside. He comes from inside. When you make yourself accountable for your acts. There is no boss in trading who do not do this. Do not do it. There is no supervisor who holds your mistake. Here are only you and your decisions, and this makes this game so difficult and dangerous. I remember once I took an impulsive trade while my plan was clearly saying that wait now. He went to trade loss and I justified myself. It is just once. This will not happen next time. But then that next time started coming again and again. Then I made a rule for myself. I will write every mistake and answer myself. I not only wrote trades in my journal but also wrote reasons. Why did I take this trade? Was it in my plan? And every time there is no answer, I had to face myself. Initially it was unconfirmed. It is not easy to blame yourself. But gradually this accountability brought a change in me. Now I used to think before taking the trade, if it went wrong, will I be able to write it in the journal and stop me the same question? Accountability makes you disciplined because it shows you mirror. When you look at your every mistake with open eyes, you stop running away from them. Now you do not make exercise but find solutions. And this is the real foundation of discipline. Discipline in trading is not a temporary thing. This is a daily habit. Observe yourself every day, check yourself, answer yourself. When you are accountable to yourself, you train your mind. You avoid impulsive trade. You control overconfidence and recry the fear and neutralize it. This does not only affect your trading results but also has on your entire mindset. Now you do not take random decisions. Now you become a process drive. And to be honest, this is the place where the journey from a trader to professional trader begins. Personal accountability brings you a place where you become your own teacher. You guide yourself. You correct yourself and gradually transform yourself. And when this transformation happens, trading is not just a means of earning money. It becomes a reflection of strength and stability inside you. Remember, discipline cannot be imposed from outside. He comes only when you consider yourself response to your acts. And when it becomes a mindset, trading becomes a controlled, structured and powerful journey for you. Because finally the market cannot be controlled. But he is always in your hand and this control is your real strength. When I look back at this whole journey, the same thing echoes clearly in my mind. The real victory in trading comes not from charts or strategies but by fully on. Most traders blame the market. They keep blaming the news or curse the luck. But the truth is that as long as you continue to focus on external factors, you will remain powerless. Trading changes when you say, yes, it was my fault. This was my decision and I can improve it. This is the time when you turn from victim to a creator. Taking response does not mean that you punish yourself. This means you empower yourself. When you on your results, you understand that every mistake, every loss, every wrong decision is a lesson and these lessons are your strength. I learned that only 3 things bring real difference in trading. Quit blaming the first market. Quit the second external control and adopt internal control, and thirdly make yourself accountable. When this mindset comes, you get able to work between every chaos of trading. You know that the uncertainty is part of the game and you accept it. You observe yourself. You manage your emotions and make discipline your habit, and it is from here that traders are born, which lasts at all costs. The market will remain unpredictable. Losses will also come. But when you do your mind on, then you live in anger in the midst of any storm. In trading, the real strength is not in the profit but in the control that you put on you, and when you do this control master, you do not remain just a trader. You become a disciplined performance. So ask yourself this question. Am I still blaming, or I am ready to take the steering of my life in my hand? Because once you take the responsibility of your actions and results, then whatever you do the market, You make your own way, and this is the way of ultimate freedom in trading. If this video benefited you, subscribe this channel and give a like to this video. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon to get more videos. Thank you.